I crawl out of the bushes to a sun drenched in red. The songs and laughter of my friends are long gone. All that I am left with is the squealing of children from a nearby playground and the stomps and wheezes of exhausted joggers. I am surrounded by trees and grass and lakes. Yet on the horizon, concrete towers swallow up the setting sun. I'm in the middle of Prague 13's Central Park, and there's a pressure cooker frothing in the back of my skull. Hundreds of millions of years ago, this land was flooded with volcanic activity. The earth shifted, both on its own and through the hand of man. The land was cleared to make room for grazing and farmland, and eventually the ever-sprawling monster of the mother of all cities consumed it. All around me stand Soviet-era housing blocks, no older than half a century, but in the center of the park, nestled right between two man-made lakes, sits an echo of the planet's primal past. The hill bears little resemblance to the mighty volcano it once was. It would scarcely be described as a particularly large hill, yet in its core the world-creating power still simmers. I hear the hill whispering to me. Shaking my head does nothing to calm those whispers. There is a path to take up the old volcano, but out of instinct, I ignore it. Like a mountain goat rushing to a destination he cannot comprehend, I clamber my way up directly through the incline of the hill. Past the crunch of old rock beneath my feet, I hear a symphony of voices. The language which they speak is completely foreign to me, but I understand exactly what the shivers in my chest are trying to tell me. I wipe the tears from my eyes and continue my climb. No matter how much I shake my head, the voices keep on getting louder and louder.
Don't be scared, my child. We mean you no harm.
The ancient rock beneath my feet slips away until I am on top of the hill. Somewhere beyond the trees, my friends are sitting and laughing and having a good time. I reach for my phone to call them, but I cannot make sense of the screen. Somewhere, 1,000 miles away, men dug into the earth and forced out minerals to create the machine in my hand. The sweat that rolled down their backs as they pried the metal from the stone swells down my back. Without my consent, the phone drops into the primal dust of the hill. Beyond me, the arteries of Prague lie revealed. The only unearthed section of the city's metro shudders as 100 souls rocket through it.
Does our voice not bring you joy?
The grinding metal of the subway asks.
Why do you refuse our call?
The overpass rumbles. Tears well up in my eyes and my knees grow weak. I am not in pain. Each syllable of the voice encompasses me fully and drives tendrils of ecstasy through my being. Yet that joy is diluted. That joy is diluted in gut-wrenching fear.
You are our progeny, our gift, our offering to the altar of life. You are a part of the whole, and it pains us to see you reject it.
I fall to my knees and raise a cloud of pale red dust. The sky is the color of a burning bush. I realize I can no longer ignore it. God, I whisper to the heavens, is that you?
Yes.
The particles of eternity floating around me say,
It is we, the harbinger of creation, the summation of perception, the whole. It is we, God.
I cannot help but grip the earth in my hands. Sharp bits of crushed stone lacerate the flesh beneath my fingernails, but I do not feel pain. I struggle to breathe past the joy burning in my throat. What? I gulp for air like a man drowning. What do you want from me?
You are a part of the whole, child. You are an appendage of the whole. You are loved by the whole.
Each word bounces off infinitely into the universe. The prehistoric rock beneath me, the burning ball of fire on the horizon, the cement of the brutalist buildings. They all speak to me in a singular voice.
You are a part of the whole. You are a part of us. You and us are one, and we need your aid.
The spotlight of the universe is aimed straight at me. I feel each and every life burn through my veins. What? I bark in ecstasy. What do you want me to do, God? Another train shoots through the overpass. It brakes, ever so slightly, as it re-enters the earth. The machine is far away from me and is obstructed through sheets of metal and glass, yet I can feel the sparks of the grinding metal.
The world is in danger.
They sizzle.
The world is in danger and it needs your help.
Beyond the gray cement of the panel housing, a magnificent beam of light rises. The universe points to where it wants me to go.
We are the creator and the creation. We are the Alpha and the Omega. We are the force which keeps the universe alive. Yet in the dark corners of this world our power wanes. It is necessary for these corners of darkness to see the light.
With each glimmer of sunlight that fades from the sky, the beam of light grows stronger. In the brief interim that the voice does not speak, I pick up my phone and climb to my feet. I try to call my friends, but the symbols on the screen look like ancient hieroglyphs.
We need you to walk to the place which our light cannot reach.
The beam of light pulses in the darkening sky.
We need you to go there and set the darkness aflame.
My legs move without consent and drag me toward the edge of the hill. It's as if the earth itself is moving beneath my feet, and I have been singled out from the inertia of its rotation. The voice still speaks to me, but it communicates through soft whispers which do not challenge my constitution. As I crawl my way down the ancient hill, the voice soothes me. It tells me I am doing the right thing. It tells me I am being good. Past the pleasure of the universe's company, I stop to question my destination. The greenery of the park falls away and I am led up a cement road. Beyond a lawn of sun-dried grass sits a white monolith of a building. The word Tesco burns in blue and red into the quickly approaching night. Further still, an even brighter light shines. The heavens order me to move, and I do not resist. To whispers drenched in cosmic unity, I stumble my way towards the burning beacon. On the crosswalk, I am nearly hit by a bus. The driver leans out of the window and screams obscenities at me. The man's baby blue shirt is drenched in sweat, and furious spit follows his words. But beneath the rage, I can hear another voice.
Do not fear him, child.
The bus rumbles.
Do not fear anything. You walk with us. You walk with God.
The beam of light leads me down towards the Lucas subway. Nestled between an office supply store and a corner shop it stands, a dusty storefront. Not far from it, a man who could be a vagrant or an artist strums on his guitar. He plays the strings quietly, as if only for himself, yet they echo in my skull like a symphony.
This is the place.
The metal strings sing.
This is the place in which we are powerless. This is the place which must burn.
Without conscious effort, I press my palms against the glass door of the dusty store and push. The voice has infused my chest with the same undeniable joy that it always carried, yet the moment I cross the threshold of the store, I am alone. The ecstasy flows out of my lungs and I am caught in what almost feels like a post-coital glow. That dull pleasure soon recedes under fear of the unknown. The air is filled with cigarette smoke and the smell of plastic. Lamplight scarcely reaches the dusty windows, but clumps of televisions hang from the ceiling like discount chandeliers. They all play the same show. Beneath the dim light of a washed-out Simpsons episode, I see a VHS rental. Behind the counter sits a teenage boy with terminally sick skin and angry eyes. In his skeletal fingers, he holds a cigarette. When he ashes it, he doesn't look at the ashtray. He only looks at me. I check my phone. The numbers on the screen are legible even past my exhausted eyes. There's 2 missed calls and a handful of text messages waiting for me. My friends are worried about where I disappeared to. I pick open the group chat and attempt to make sense of my situation. I have heard the voice of God. It wants me to burn down a VHS rental place. I stare at a message for a moment, checking for syntax, and then I delete it. I try to phrase my explanation in a way that doesn't make me sound completely unhinged. Before I compose another reply, however, a croaky voice calls to me from the counter.
Can I help you, sir?
He pronounces sir with the intonation of a slur. Everything on his face indicates that help is precisely not the thing he wants to provide. Just looking around, I mumble. To illustrate my innocence, I put away my phone and walk through the shelves of VHS tapes. Everything I come across is Hollywood, but the titles have been translated into the Slavic tongue. Lethal Trap, Coconuts on the Snow, Death Awaits Everywhere. Beneath the boxes advertising the movies, there are metal nails with tokens indicating availability. From the looks of it, most of the movies have been checked out.
Hey,
The frail teen screams from across the room.
sir.
I turn around to face him. He stubs out his cigarette as if he were trying to smother a bug.
You're looking for a recommendation, sir?
Sure, I say, trying to make sense of my position in the universe. The teen cocks his head to the side. Next to the counter, there is a shabby red curtain leading to an adults-only area. On the mosaic of televisions, Homer Simpson chokes his son for comedic effect. Back when I was a kid, my uncle used to bring me over to a rental place not far from his apartment. Each visit, I would rent out 1996's Space Jam and watch it over and over until the next visit when I would rent it out again. When I was a child, I lived in an ever-expanding universe of Michael Jordan fighting vague space monsters. I was enthralled by the movie, but with each visit, as I grew older, I became curious about what was happening behind the red curtain section where only the adults were allowed. Then my uncle got cable, and I never visited a rental place again. Standing in the dim light of Simpson reruns, I decided to explore that which made me curious as a youth and get away from the strange teen in the same stride. As I push aside the heavy curtain, the gray-skinned attendant grins at me. His eyes don't lose their rage.
Hope you find what you like, sir.
The curtain falls behind my back and traps me in a small, musty room. There are rows of sheathed cassettes, but I cannot make out their titles. Among the tapes, scattered through the shelves with little logic, there are bulky televisions of the 90s. They all lay dormant. For a moment, I consider what brought me to this place. All memories of walking to the rental seem 1,000 miles away. For a moment, I consider whether my trip up the hill could have been an elaborate hallucination, but before that thought can bear fruit, the televisions hiss to life. I am bathed in the light of the screens, and I lose all doubt about the nature of where I am. I am in a place where God holds no dominion. I am in a place of true evil. On the screens, a creature appears. An inhuman creature of an oval shape that is masquerading as a man. It screams from the bottom of its misshapen lungs and darts around the television like a feral animal. It screams about knowledge and science and death. I keep on trying to remind myself that the beast is just the product of a twisted imagination, that it is not real, yet I feel it watching me through the screens. The egg-shaped being howls in barely comprehensible speech and stares straight into my soul.
Sir, where are you going, sir?
Asks the sickly youth as I stumble from behind the curtain.
You're not done here, sir. Come back.
The moment I breathe in the night air, I nearly get hit by a bus again. The downtrodden man with the guitar is gone, as is the voice of God. I'm left alone with nothing but the echoes of the furious creature's screams to keep me company. My friends loiter around the fast food kiosk in the subway feasting on reheated pizza and water. I try to explain to them where the past 2 hours of my life went, but my sentences stretch out into the ether and scarcely connect into meaning. My friends are also far too occupied with their food. Through famished bites, they ask me if I want a slice. I decline. After the feast is finished, the group starts drifting off to its various sources of public transportation to retreat back home. Martin asks me if I want a cigarette. Apparently I look shaken. I, again, decline. My lungs are in no position to receive tar. My subway ride is far from pleasant. Opposite me sways a man in a dirty construction vest. He has drank himself to the edge of unconsciousness, yet he still sips on a crushed up can of Cherny Kozel. Next to me sits a boy of maybe 15 who desperately needs a shower. He stares down into his phone and taps away at a coin-filled game. willfully unaware of his odor. I press my head against the plexiglass window and watch the steadily repeating sea of dark wires. The voice of God is nowhere to be found. I almost accept that it was all a hallucination, that my entire evening had no greater meaning to the universe, but then a change of scenery wipes those doubts away. The darkness of the subway tunnel is replaced with the darkness of night. As the subway rushes between the Hurka and Lugini station, a slice of the outside world is revealed. Beyond the plexiglass, Central Park is plunged into a primal darkness. Off in the distance, the windows of panel houses shine, and there are impotent little lamps dotting the jogging paths, but they are but small vestiges in a sea of black. In the center of the park, stealing away the sky from the moon, the once mighty Vulcan rests like a giant mid-slumber.
The place in which we are powerless must be destroyed.
The hill whispers straight to my heart.
Please, child, the universe begs of you, carry out our will. Carry out the will of the whole.
The joyous rush of the voice makes my legs twitch hard enough to kick the kid sitting next to me. The foul-smelling youth stares at me in horror through his greasy locks and retreats to the other side of the carriage. The drunk with the reflective jacket simply gives me a knowing smile. "What do you want me to do, God?" I mumble past clenched teeth.
The place which you have witnessed.
The hill hums as it disappears from view.
The place must burn.
Sir?
A badge not suited for prolonged inspection is shoved in my face. The man who holds it is strong and impatient. If he weren't wearing the colors of the ticket checkers, I would have mistook his request for a mugging. My hands shake as I produce my transport card for scanning. That night, and for 3 nights after, I dream of the VHS rental.
Sir?
I find myself back in that dimly lit room with the gray-skinned teen staring at me with horrid yellowed eyes. The televisions around us buzz, and the air is filled with the smell of plastic and stale tobacco. The dream always feels real. It always feels undeniable.
Where are you going, sir?
The teen grips the counter as he speaks, and his nails shed cheap paint with every word. I cannot see his feet, but I can hear them. He stomps like a madman, trying to contain in him the urge to strangle. With each kick, the youth's body grows, as if being inflated by an invisible bicycle pump. His skin is far too weak to handle the strain of the growing body. It starts to break. In a baptism of blood, the boy's body shifts even further. Soon enough, I am face to face with an oval-shaped hunk of flesh.
"We're not done here, sir."
Soon enough, I am facing the horror I met behind the red curtain. He screams in a horrid falsetto, terrible diatribes scarcely connected to reality. He rambles about science and inventions and knowledge and experiments and equations. I try to turn away, but the eldritch being of blood and skin won't let me be. It says no one can deny its company. It says we're not done here. For 2 days, I shake my head and deny my nights. I try to excuse my vision's distress and lack of sleep and psychosis. Yet no matter how much I try to get the echoes of the screams out of my memory, they always return come sundown. My longing for peace and guidance drives me towards extremes. On the 3rd day, I research. On the 4th day, I prepare. On the 5th night, I board a subway heading towards Prague 13. Hundreds of millions years later, nestled in the center of a man-made park, the hill still stands defiant. Burning in the darkness, there are lamplights in windows and cars, but they seem like nothing but fireflies temporarily resting on an eternal landscape. Some of those fireflies blink blue and red. The air smells of burning plastic and accelerants.
You have done well, child.
The ancient rock beneath me whispers.
There is still evil in this world, but you have done enough service.
Stacks of pitch-black smoke bleed out into the moonlight sky from behind the panel housing. I strip off my drenched shirt and shake the broken glass out of my hair. The voice of God continues to shiver through my being. It keeps on telling me I did the right thing. It tells me to be happy. With each word, it grows fainter. It tells me to be happy, but with each word, it slowly abandons me. When God finally disappears, I am left with a single thought, a single prayer, a desperate hope that I will never see the egg-shaped monstrosity in my dreams ever again.